Okay, people, it's August 6th, 2016. So this is where we're at. So I did the pears yesterday. One jar didn't seal because I didn't take the air out. That's why it didn't seal. So anyway, 6 jars sealed. So I got what, 13 jars, 7 and 6 is what, 13? And then 1 in the fridge. And I still have from last year, so that's not so bad. And then I did 2 jars of pickles, you can see, right? And there's salt in that one, so that's good. And then the day before that, I did the sweet plum sauce, which is very, very good. And then I did three pear syrups, which is really, really good. Like, extremely good. So that's good. I want to show you something here. I know it's kind of dark because it's late now, right? I don't know if you'll be able to see this, if you'll be able to notice it. There is a difference between black walnut and Old English walnut. This is the rind of the black walnut. It's much darker than the rind of the Old English walnut. And when you go pick it up, or in terms of the nuts with the husks and everything under the tree, it's the black walnut, the actual black walnut, that gives off the good smell in terms of like a food or it's not like it's not a heart, it's like an orange, a cross between an orange or a lime, or you know, it has a nice smell to it. Even Andre likes the smell. Not so much these ones. You can't really smell these ones very much, right? I put my nose to them today as I was doing them. These ones I'm dehydrating. These are at the tail end of the tree falling off, right? Because what I've discovered here, people, oops, sorry. Now, obviously, I was doing walnut a little bit today. And yes, I do wear gloves and I don't wear gloves. It depends, right? Anyway, where my skin was peeling, because that's what it does, people. I mean, obviously, I had my hands in water washing nuts today, right? So you're not going to notice it as much. And I'm probably going to do walnuts for the next couple of days because I've got 2 more large trays after this is dehydrated. And I've got 2 like this. And some of these are already, like, not needing it, okay? Because, again, you can feel them. You can feel them, people, if they're really too damp inside or on the outside of the shell, right? So, you know, you don't want to run them underneath a dehydrator forever. I don't think it's necessary, but you do want to keep them with the air, right? So anyway, with this stuff here, what I'm going to do, right, it's almost already dehydrated, is I have a, I don't know how to explain it. It's like a rough patch of skin here. It's been like that for years, and sometimes it gets really, really dry, you know? And I don't necessarily have a callus there, but it's kind of like a callus. And because black walnut likes to eat the surface of the skin, right? And it's like a healing agent, I'm going to take some of this, reconstitute it with water, put it on there, put it on there, or powder, whichever, right? Put a gauze over it, and I'm going to leave it on there for a couple of 2-3 hours so it can eat away at that dead skin. And then I'm going to see what happens, right? Because I'm starting to think that it's a good callus remover. Because I think what I had, I think what I had over here was a little callus. But you can't see it now because I was doing this again today. This is what I did today, right? So it's been covered up again. But, okay. So anyway, we've got the marinade plum sauce here. I don't know, quite a few. I already did a video on that. We still have our pickles with no salt turned upside down. Herbs are done like this, right? And then, hold on a minute. Okay. So, anyway, I'm just, I'm going to put this one here, Money Doesn't Buy Happiness, because, I don't know, some people, right, seem to think that, without money you're miserable. People, I have been through many different kind of circumstances in life, with or without money. And if you notice, I'm pretty good at holding down the fort, regardless. Now, we're probably going to get our internet cut off here and our telephone cut off for a while. This would be the first time in my whole life, I'm 54, people, that I've ever had anything cut off. Okay? But that's by design. That's by design, with the haters in our society that go out of their way to purposely maim and injure innocent families. Okay? For uplifting themselves, whether again it's for ego or whether it's for a pension check because they're following protocol, their procedure, right? Just the whole 9 yards. So anyway, this might be the last video for a little while, right? It might be, because I don't know. I've asked the kids to everybody chip in, but they're all working at minimum wage. They have their own responsibilities and bills. My son is now back in school and college to get the last bit of whatever he needs to get a certificate. He paid for that himself because he's maxed out with whatever, they max out their student loans and stuff. So, he worked over the summer to put himself back into school. And, it's a good thing I have food storage, because he's back to being a starving student, and he's going to need some comfort food from home, from us, from me and Uncle John, right? Because we've been there, like these people that, $3,000 a month, and she's crying for his money. And let me tell you something, people. The only reason Uncle John is getting $3,000 a month or whatever, $2,900 a month in his pension plan is because he actually lived until he was 76 years old, right? If he wouldn't have lived that long, he wouldn't have gotten it. The older he gets, the higher his pension plan goes, because that was the plan that he chose when the government was doing their little buyout. But again, he forfeited on the life insurance that kicked out at age 65. And I think people, based on the accusations that are being thrown at me, if I was such a money-hungry grub, then how the hell did Uncle John live to the age of 76 years old without getting sick? Okay? Without getting sick, people, when his life insurance kicked out at age 65. And like Uncle John hasn't, he's fragile, right? With his legs and everything, with the eyes. His eyesight cannot improve, people, because he's got that macular degeneration, which is, once it's done, it's done. There is no improvement. Even if they do cataract surgery, there is no improvement. So be careful what you are listening to, because Uncle John didn't want surgery. He didn't want all this people poking at him and injecting him with things and running him through x-ray machines and all this other stuff to prop up the healthcare system, because he had already been through all that when he was young. So his eyesight has not improved. If it's improved where they can document it and say, oh, well, we gave him this and his eyesight improved, it's only because he's parroting. He's parroting, like Parroting, parroting. He's parroting what these people want him to say. He'll say, yes, I can see better, only because that's what those people are expecting of him to say. But at the end of the day, the end game is, people, his eyesight cannot improve because of the type of disease that he has. Right? Just like the money. The money wasn't always in terms of 20 years ago. No, 20 years ago, it was half that, if not less, people. On top of, he had bills that he came in with, like I said, his wife, was bankrupting him after he paid off all the bills from his car insurance money from the accident that he had, right? It took 20 years, 23 years for him to get up to that where he's at right now with his pension. And by convenience, his family took him at the maximum. His extended family, the one that had abandoned him for years and years and years and years and years and years and years, the one that basically abandoned Joan in Victoria to the point where Joan moved over here and had us, Uncle John, my kids, me, all look after Auntie Joan, because there was nobody there to help her, right? So anyway, that extended family had to wait until his pension plan got to the maximum dollar amount where they could dope him up, keep him in a wheelchair, confuse him, gaslight him, all kinds of crazy crap, wheel him off in the middle of the night, tell him that he can't talk to nobody on this side of the freaking fence, right? That we're nobody. And, you know, scared the shit out of him, people, basically, right? And they took over his assets, and I'm sure they went in there with their, you know, where's his life insurance policy from, you know, the government, and, you know, where's this, and because that's all they wanted. That's all they wanted, people. And little did they know, I warned them, there is no life insurance policy, because again, he knew, I'm talking, okay, good, he knew what his extended family in Victoria, the Duncan clan, and you know, the ones that married into the Duncan clan, he knew what they were like. Okay? So he got rid of that life insurance. But because he took the plan where his pension goes up every year, so if he lives, if he's alive, because like I said, I'm going to start treating it like he's died, right? But if he's alive, every year they get an extra little bit more money. So it, you know, a little bit more money. So that's their motivation. That at this point is their motivation to keep him alive, right? It's not because they want to be with him and share his memories with him and be happy with him, right? Because you see, Uncle John didn't care about money, right? He didn't care about money. What he cared about was family. And if you notice, people, he lived with us, his immediate family, all these years. And he had his wife move in with us, his immediate family. That's where his happiness was with his immediate family. So whether the internet gets cut off for a while, I don't have access to the phone, you know, it doesn't really matter. It because at the end of the day, that's not what's going to bring happiness. It's not. Right? And so just keep that in mind, okay? Just like seriously, I'm really happy with the results of my canning this year. I had almost everything. Well, I did have everything that I needed. The only thing I didn't have was what is it? 1 pint jars, enough for them. But I'm at the tail end of my canning. I got beans, right? A little bit of more canning of beans, and I'm going to do the kale, and I might can a little bit of, make little pickled carrots or something, just something different with my few 1 pint jars that I have around the house. You know, Uncle John, he held down the fort, people. He got us through. He got us through for 2 years, right? Because he invested into this house. And this is why the Duncan clan is trying so hard in every which way and manner to tear it apart and destroy it, okay? Because anything bad that's happened contributes directly to them. And anything secondary in terms of that GMOI and, you know, the troll network, that's all secondary. The ones who are responsible, though, is the Duncan clan, okay? But no matter what they've done, they were unsuccessful to tear apart Uncle John's house, because this is still his house. That's why they don't want me here and with the kids, because they don't want the memory of what Uncle John had and what Uncle John stood for and what Uncle John believed in and what Uncle John stuck up for, right? They want everything all torn apart, right? So that there is no memory of it. Well, here's the memory. Go Go. You're done. Go. I'm talking. Well, yeah, okay. Hold on, people. Anyway, he had a bath. He just needed some clothes. That's what it was. So I'm going to upload this from whatever I've been doing up until this video. And then I'm just going to continue making little clips here and there. But I might not be able to upload them for a while, right? Until, you know, we iron out this situation. Because it is what it is, right? Like I said, Dunk Clan trying to tear everything apart. There's a lot of people out there trying to tear everything apart. I don't know why they have this need to tear things apart. To me, it's like tear it apart so that they hide the evidence, right? If they can destroy this place, the memory of what Uncle John actually stood for and his home, because this is his home, people. It wasn't his sister Eleanor that he hadn't seen for 30 fucking years, okay? It wasn't some house in the country that he had never been to, people. That was not his home. He was conditioned to think, oh, I'm going home. Where are you going, Uncle John? I'm going to the country. He didn't have a choice, people. They didn't give him a choice. They took him under the cover of darkness and they tried to destroy everything that he represented because they didn't want him to be happy, basically. They didn't want him to be happy. He didn't live to the age of 65. Oh, sorry. He didn't live to the age of 76 being neglected. Okay? Because if that was the case, he would have been dead before age 65. So this family that wants to sit up there and accuse me of whatever they're accusing me of, well, they need to get their facts straight. They need to get their facts straight because they're the ones that are holding, more than likely, John's money that he inherited from his dead wife that we, us, over here, his immediate family, looked after. Right? And we did it because it was the right thing to do for Uncle John. Because we wanted Uncle John to be happy. Right? Because it wasn't all about money. Right? So, anyway, I'm happy. I'm happy. You can hear it in my videos. I'm happy with the grape leaves rolls that I've made, which I'm going to make some more. Right? I'm happy with the plum sauce, the sweet plum sauce. I'm even happy with the Asian marinade sauce in terms of putting it on, what do you call that? Like squash, and you can put it on meat when you're baking it and that kind of stuff, right? I'm happy with the pears. I still have apples in the fridge downstairs to make apple pie, right? I'm happy. I'm happy. I got through it. And now that I realize that no matter what, that I'm happy, that no matter what, every day, Andre, I want this, Nana has no money, and it just doesn't matter, people. I'm happy. I'm happy. These people, I don't know, there's something up in there that makes them unhappy. The only thing that makes them happy is greed. Seriously, is greed, right? And they got to destroy things in order to hang on to that greed. I'm not hanging on to greed, people. I'm hanging on to the family home. I'm hanging on to something that Uncle John wanted to have before he died. He wanted to recapture what we lost at Wally's house because of a provincial government's greed, because of union employees' greed, right? Because that's basically what fuels this greed. Like I said, poor people, they don't get to see the disparity between those that have and those that don't. But I don't know why a government employee seems to think that they have the right to be destroyers. There's got to be like a terminator. What appoints them to be the terminator of human life in terms of small children, adults, youth, teenagers, the elderly? Because again, it's the government employee is the one that seems to cause the most hurt in our society because they're always chasing that greed. They're chasing the superannuation life insurance policy, just like when they scooped up John. I'm sure the minute they scooped up John, they got up onto the federal or provincial, wherever these places are, to find out where his life insurance policy was. John and I didn't phone because we already knew where it was. There wasn't one. But the minute his family took him to Victoria, I'm sure the following Monday, they got up on the phone and they wanted to find out where it is. So they didn't find it because it wasn't there. So what they did is they took his last little bit of money that accumulated over a period of 25 years, people. Over, well, not 25 years, maybe 20 years. I can't remember when they had the buyout in 2003, 2002. I think I was still living at Wally's. I left Wally's at 2003, so it had been 2001, 2002. As soon as the provincial government got into power, the BC Liberal government, they came in and they started busting up the poor union workers, you know, like the hospital cleaning staff, the cooks, you know, and the janitors, and, you know, those people, they put the minorities, the minority cleaners, and, you know, the minority cooks, and the minority ass wipes, you know, they busted up their union, right? You know, they wiped out that, and when they wiped out that, like I said, they came in with these buyouts, and everybody had to choose something, and John chose his, and his family waited just long enough to go in there and capitalize off it, because they seem to think that's what's going to make them happy. Because they have nothing else in life to hang on to. They like dead bodies, dead minds, and looking for other people's money. That's what they like. You know, they gotta kill things off in order to be able to survive for themselves. And at the end of the day, they're never happy. Because when Uncle John dies, if he hasn't died already, they'll be cussing him in his grave for not having a life insurance policy as they go off and spend Jones. But they'll be cussing on John. They'll be cussing John. They'll be like, you know how you cuss on somebody's grave? That's what they're going to do. They're going to cuss on somebody's grave, on John's grave, because he didn't leave them $1 million of taxpayers' money to make them happy. Okay, so it's September 4th, going on noon. Okay, so did the grape leaf rolls last night. Was up very late. Anyway, these plums here, or pears, came from that other neglected tree, right? So I'm just going to use these ones to make a pear syrup for pancakes or something like that. Right? And I've got a few other ones that are kind of beat up in the fridge. So I'm going to go through those ones and I'm going to steam them and then I'm going to make a syrup. These ones are the ones that my son picked off the tree when I asked him to do it, people, which was, what, a couple weeks ago? And as you can see, they've been sitting in the fridge and they're hardly bruised, okay? Because they were picked off the tree versus waiting for them to fall off the tree. So these are much more manageable. I'm going to do at least 7 jars today, and I probably still have enough pears to do 7 more, but I can't do 14 jars in one day. I'm just too tired, and I don't have enough space to do it fluently and efficiently, right? So I have to, you know, I have to work around things, you know. Isn't that just a beautiful pear? Look at that pear. It's beautiful. There's nothing wrong with these pears. Absolutely nothing. So this is good. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Hold on. Okay, people, so it's almost 12:30 in the afternoon here. I think it's going to be an all-dayer. Not looking forward to it. And believe it or not, I'm still thinking at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if it's going to be midnight, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock. Could be, you know, it's 12 now, right? So you're looking at least 7 or 8 hours by the time I'm done, if not longer. And I'm still thinking about walnuts. Oh, we can just do a small batch. Anyway, I don't think that's going to happen because I know those walnuts are dropping off the tree, and what we brought home yesterday is, I bet you Andre and I go find the same amount today, so I'm trying to not think about it. So you see that little handy mark there on that jar? Uh-oh, battery's going. Hold on. Anyway, before I go any further, I just want to say I got this thing plugged in, eh? And we know that we're having problems, or I'm having problems, with my battery kicking out when the screen flaps, for whatever reason, right? So, you know, these lithium batteries have a tendency to explode, and this thing is charged right now. It's being plugged in as I'm using it. So I thought about that last night, so I don't know. I'm going to have to go get that other broken camcord from the pawn shop at some point and use that one maybe instead of this one, because God forbid if this thing explodes on me, right? So anyway, these little jars, obviously that's a Value Village mark there, okay? So, you know, save your jars because you're going to need them. These are old salmon jars, right? You should be using it for fish, meat, or whatever, but in this case, I'm going to use it for the sweet plum sauce, which I started, 4 or 5 days ago. So it's been sitting in the fridge, and it has pineapple in it, crushed up, and frozen pineapple that I had bought on sale and cut up and froze, fresh pineapple, and several slices of that, plus a can of crushed pineapple, and about a cup of sugar. So it's I just tasted it. It's good. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it to the crock pot, and I'm just going to add maybe another 1 or 2 more cups of sugar, just to get it to the kind of sweet taste where I want it at, and then that's what I'll be canning in those. So that if we make like egg rolls or something, or we want a sweet plum sauce, we have it. And then the other plum sauce that I have is more of a marinating type, right, for like squash and meat and that type of thing. So in the meantime, I'm going to get these ready, and whatever miscellaneous ones I've got in my fridge that will be good to stew in that, I can't think what it's called right now, you know, that steamer of mine, right? So all the juice goes down to the bottom, and then the juice, I'm going to squeeze out pulp, and then with that, I'm going to make a syrup, and I'm going to be canning them in these jars. I would prefer the half pint, you can see that, but that's about all I got left in the house is 2. So this is important, not to be throwing out your jars, you know, when you're done using them. You know, don't forget jars are important, because these things have been sitting in a box forever, a couple of years anyway, and they're going to come in handy today. So the other thing is, people, like, when you're depressed, you know, you have to put your focus on something, right? And you know, this is my something, right? This is my something. There was something else I wanted to say, but we'll be back. Okay, so anyway, it's going to be a long day, so I'm just going to do this throughout the day, off and on. You guys can keep me company, you know, for the ones that appreciate this, right? And I do miss Uncle John. If Uncle John was here, he'd be sitting in his chair and we'd be talking, right? So in the meantime, everything that you do when it comes to food storage, I'd say a good 2/3 is prep, seriously, if not more, right? It's the prep work that gets to the end result. If you don't do the prep work, you don't get to the end result. And one of the first things you're going to do when you want to make a plum sauce is you want to run it through a food mill of some sort. This is one of these hand ones, an old school one, because it's aluminum, right? My grandmother used aluminum through her whole life, and she lived till she was 86 years old. So I'm not too worried about aluminum right now at this point in life. For those that say that you shouldn't use anything when it comes to aluminum, it was made to last. You can see it's an old school one. It's not something that's like, anyway, you just run it through the food mill, get it down to the fine pulp. I like using the crock pot because it's off to the corner. I can put it on low and it can cook all day to my satisfaction. And then I have my little extra workspace, because this is where I have to do the pears, get ready for canning, steaming, all this other stuff, where this can cook right up to the bitter end. When I do my last batch of pear syrup, in terms of putting them in the jars and water bathing them, that will be the last thing that goes in tonight. So I'm just going to get it to the point where I want to taste, like, get it going, and then I'm going to taste it. And then, because it sat in the fridge for a few days, it's had time to seep, and I wouldn't call it fermenting, but soften its bite, because these plums were kind of tart, right? They weren't sour, but they were tart. And But letting it sit with the pineapple and the sugar just coming out of the fridge as is, it's actually pretty good. I really like it. The only thing I would add would be maybe 1.5, or 2 cups of sugar. So you start with the 1, cook it, see if you like it. If you want a little sweeter, put in another 1/2 cup. Right? I'm not getting any fancy dancy with the coconut sugars and all this other stuff. I only got about 2/3 of a bag of sugar here, so I'm going to try and stretch it out. I still have like 2 big bags of apples downstairs from when Andre and I picked those apples from that tree, right? And we picked those apples at the right time, because as soon as I stopped picking the apples, they were already starting to rot on the inside, because one of the type of apple that it wasn't a hard, crunchy apple like a Red Delicious or a Macintosh or something. It was more of a softer apple, like a crab apple, right? So if you left it on the tree for too long, that's what it does, right? It gets overripe, and then it starts to rot because it's overripe. So when Andre and I went and got the apples, we got them at the right time. So for the 2 bags that I got downstairs, I can still make apple pie, people, which I want to do, because I actually owe my son 2 apple pies. I promised him 2 apple pies for something that he did for me. I don't remember what it is right now, but I do remember I made him a promise. So I have to make at least 2 apple pies. So you know I'm going to have to make 5, right? 3 to eat, 2 to give away to my son. And the rest of it will be, well, I'll probably make more apple pies for the freezer, because I've always wanted to do that. And then we'll see what's left, right? Because I can, 2 bags of apples, I could probably make 15 pies. Because I've already got applesauce and apple juice and apple butter. So, you know, what more do you want in terms in canning? So, anyway, put it in a food mill. Get it down to a nice fine grind. Put it back in there. Put it on low. Don't put the lid on, because it will burn. It will overcook too fast. Add your 1/2 cup here, 1/2 cup sugar, or whatever you want. Get it to a taste that you like. And then you can into your jars. And there's your sweet plum sauce. Hold on. Okay, so for the cooks in the house that watch these videos and just want to pick up tips, when you're cruising the thrift stores, because you're not going to find anything like this new, people, okay? This is old school. This is from the farms, all right? That's why it works well, because it was made well. You have to find them in thrift stores, seriously. This is a food mill. I'm sure that's what it's called. You don't want to use a blender. If you were making plum butter, yes, use a blender. And you don't want to use a food processor, because it would produce the same kind of result as a blender. It would become too milky, too creamy. What you want is a food mill, and you want a good one. So the only place that I can think that you can find a good one at a reasonable cost would be a thrift store. So don't be afraid to cruise those thrift stores, and when you find one like that, pick it up. Because when I bought it, I wasn't too sure what I was going to use it for. To be honest with you, I wasn't even really too sure what it was. But I liked it, right? And I knew it had something to do with something in the kitchen, right? And it came from the farms. So I'm glad I bought it. I didn't pay very much for it, maybe $4 or something stupid like that, right? Like just minuscule dollar amount in terms of what it's being used for, and how well it's worked. And I've used it with blackberries. And you know blackberries have those little seeds, right? And it can just, it won't quit. It just keeps going right down to almost nothing. I'll show you in a minute. Hold on. Okay, so moving along here. Done that with the food mill. So now you're going to see how nice this is. Right? The reason it gets foamy near the end is because you're at the very end of everything, right? That will cook itself off as you cook. And what's going to happen, oops, sorry, wandering eye. What's going to happen is it's going to get really rich in color. You'll see that. But this is a really nice consistency. To be honest with you, it doesn't really need to be cooked very long, I don't even think. Oops, sorry. Right? And especially once you put your sugar in there, it's going to thicken up. Either or, I'm still going to cook it up in this, because it doesn't matter, right? Because even if you got it to the consistency where you wanted it and you just quite weren't ready with the cans, jars, or whatever, you can turn off the power, put on the lid, and it would stay warm until you're ready. And then when you're ready with your jars, you can heat it back up and can it, and you're done. So that's ready to go. This here is the pulp. You can see there's not that much here out of that big pot. That's all that's left. So what I'm going to do with that is, since I have the blender out for the walnut husks, I'm going to probably blend this up in the blender, and then at the end of the day, and then put it in a bowl, right? Put it in the fridge after I blend it up, just to get it ready, right? Put it in the fridge, and then as I'm getting into the pears, you know, I can take some of the pulp with the pear and mix the two together and make a different kind of sauce, right? And can that as well, even, you know, 4 or 5 jars. Otherwise, I'm just going to throw that out, and it doesn't make any sense. What that is the skin and everything, and I don't have the time to go around and around and around and around for the next 2 hours just to get it down to half that size. Makes more sense just to grind it up and combine it with something else at the end of the day. But make sure you put it in the fridge, right? Because I'm not going to get to that till later after I'm done the majority of the pears. And then the other thing I want to say is, isn't that a beautiful picture? Like, who brought this cat in? Huh? Where did this cat come from? Went downstairs to go get the pears and the jars and stuff, and there's this picture. Isn't that? My mother used to paint pictures like this. That's why I have books like that. Some of the books that I have that have pictures like this were my mother's. This is the stuff that I want to do with Andre. Okay, so there's that nifty little machine. This is what, second time I've used it? Third time or something? I really like it. I forgot I had it because it's in a box just kind of kicking around because I don't have a, you know, like a shelf for it or something, right? Unless I, like, put it away and not use it, right? And then what's the purpose, you know, when you're doing stuff like this, you kind of need it, so it's kicking around the house. So anyway, I found it. And I grounded up that pulp, which was a lot of pineapple, and obviously the plum skin. I'm not sure if I'm going to put that into the pot, which dip your spoon in, pull it out, and put it in your mouth. I'm telling you, it tastes really good. It's not going to need much more sugar, that's for sure. And it will change its taste slightly as it heats up, right? Because you're going to recook it in the flavor into the flavor, right? Because you've just put it through a food mill. So this here, I'm not sure if I'm going to put it in here, cook it up with that, or if I'm going to leave that off to the side, like I said, put it in a bowl and start making the pear syrup, and then at some point take a little bit of the pear syrup, depending on how much I make, you know, I will see what we get. Then I'd like to combine the two and just have something different, right? Pear plum syrup. All right, try this again. So there's that little bit there from that pear tree last time Andre and I went. He likes to go there. He likes to go to the trees, right? So I go. Anyway, that's not too much, but it will get us started with the syrup. And then, of course, we went a couple of other times. You can see back there, those ones, right? They're not that great. You can tell which ones were picked from the tree, people, out in the back here. I just put it in there right now. They're not going in the sauce. They're going in the jar, right? I'll make it for fruit, which is really good for yogurt and stuff like that. Some of them from the back, some of them from the other tree. So anyway, this is what this is the stuff I'm gonna use to make the plum sauce with. Sorry, pear sauce with. Those ones down there, I will be canning today. It should fill up a sink, which should give me 7 jars. I have I think another one of these downstairs, so I should get another 7 jars. I should probably get about 14 jars of pears canned, and I don't know how much pear sauce, so we'll see. Okay, I must be real lonely today. No, that's just a silly joke. What I want to say is these peels, like, don't let this discourage you, right, people? Because this stuff here, fruit products that are not sprayed with pesticides and all that other stuff, you know, in terms of buying them in the grocery store, and this is all fresh produce, right? Organic, I guess you call it. This is the best stuff to make dirt with, I'm telling you. The better than manure, right? Because it adds different properties to the dirt. Because if you ever go like underneath a plum tree or something like that, that's been there for a long time, and you look at the dirt, and you can see how rich the dirt is, right? So this stuff here, I mix in throughout my yard where there's pine needles, like, you know, because I'm building up dirt still, right? So I just wanted to point that out. There was something else I was going to say. I don't remember what it was. So just, you know, even if it looks like it has no value at this point, I'm going to probably, between those pears, this pot will fill up. Oh yes, that was the other thing. That liquid there has about a half a cup of lemon juice in it. You know, the kind you buy in a store, right? That one bottle I have. So there's a half a cup of lemon juice in there, and that helps to prevent pears from browning, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that liquid. I'm going to take these pears, actually, that are in here pretty soon, and I'm going to start them cooking as I'm getting with the next batch. And there's like a little bit of water in the other pot. So I'm going to put those in there and start steaming them. And then after I'm done, this liquid will be put into the pot to continue steaming the rest of the pears. And I'm just going to incorporate it into the syrup, right? Okay, so we're on our way in. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I have a sneaky feeling I'm going to be doing this at like freaking 3 o'clock in the morning, man. This is going to be an all-day affair. Because doing 7 jars of pears is, you know, it takes time, right? So anyway, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to peel the rest of those miscellaneous ones. I'm going to go back downstairs, and I'm just going to go through the, you know, the stock, right? See what's down there, and just make sure that I didn't leave something behind that could better off be in this pot versus somewhere else with the other next batch of pears, right? So that's what I'm going to do. Husbands, for the ones that listen to these videos or watch these videos, you know, just keep in mind that you're just like you need tools in the yard. Your wife or girlfriend or whatever, partner, they deserve to have like proper utensils in order to be able to do the things that require, you know, to make things, right? You have to have a crock pot. You got to have a food mill. You know, it's nice. This little thing is great little contraption, right? This is wonderful. I can stack it up again. I could even put in a few apples in there just to change the taste. I feel like I'm kind of going into a French mode here between the grape leaves and making pear sauce. Or syrup, I should say. Okay, well, actually, it looks like I'm going to get these done today. This is all that's left downstairs. And then these ones here, which I want to put into a ground, right? To see if they'll grow a tree. I'm very curious to see if these will grow for me. I want to grow a couple of pear trees. My landlady likes to, she took a plum tree, right? I bet you if I could grow a pear tree, she'd probably take a pear tree. So, she likes that kind of stuff, right? So anyway, this is the pears that my son picked off the tree for me. You can see they're not bruised, and they're perfect for canning. So that's maybe another 3 more jars in there. So I'm going to get anywhere between 7 to what, 10? 7 to 10 jars. And I'm going to finish the pears tonight. And then what I got left is apples, which we know I'm going to make apple pie. Lots of kale I have to process. Still going to do some grape leaves just because I can use the rice and the carrots and, you know, the other miscellaneous vegetables in the yard and you know, make some kind of... I wish I could make the TV dinners with a nice turkey behind it, beside it with some gravy. But you require, like, a bigger kitchen. And right now I just don't have this available space for that. So, anyway, be back. Okay, so the first little batch I started to steam. You can see that. Okay, and then something I want to mention here, people. You want to throw in, these are the ones that didn't drop. These are the ones that my son picked off the tree. That's why they have no bruises on them. Can you see how nice that is?
Yep.
Okay.
These ones.
Yes, those ones, yes, you got one too. Okay, hold on. So anyway, this water here has the lemon juice. I am just going to pour it into here and let it steam out for a bit. You want to have a little bit of the peel in there, people, in order to be able to get the flavor. Exactly how much, I don't know. I just put three extra pears, right? And then there's a couple of little peels here. But outside of that, I'm just basically using 3 whole pears just to give it that extra... No. This is going in the pot. Just to give it that little extra flavor, right? Okay? Hold on. Okay, so I decided not to use that lemon water. Instead, I'm going to use it for the next... I'm going to strain it with a little sieve there, and then I'm going to use it for the next batch of pears coming in for actual canning in a jar to eat like a fruit, right? Where this here is... There's a little bit of water on the bottom. So I'm just going to steam this for the next hour or two. Right? Bring it to a boil when it gets all nice. Then I'm going to turn it down to about 2 or 3. Right? 2 or 3 on the stove. Because you don't need very much. Otherwise you're just boiling it away, right? In terms of the liquid. So we just want to heat it up again because I put new stuff in there with the peels and whatnot. And then turn it down to, like, you know, even 1, right? You have to gauge it for yourself. What you want is you want the steam still coming, but not a heavy boil, right? This here is cooking along. It's going pretty good. So, what you call it? I'm going to just sit down for a few minutes, and then I guess I'm going to start getting the jars ready. That's what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to add a little more sugar to this. So I got to get the jars ready now. We'll be back. Okay. So we're out by the cucumber patch. We're looking for cucumbers.
But there's not any.
Oh, I don't know. It's been raining the last couple of days. I know there's a couple in the greenhouse, so we're going to scoop up on those ones, right? There's that. I was pinching leaves off of that last night.
Well, but
so I need another set. No. I'll come back out later after I get some pears done. I need another 75 leaves for tonight, people. See, you want them tiny, right? Tiny like this. See how fresh that is? This one is like getting a little too big. This is a little more the right size. No, those ones are too big. So anyway, we'll be back. Look what my squash did, people. Where is it? There it is. It's on the other side of the fence. It's in my neighbor's yard, man. Okay, what did we find, Andre?
We found a big cucumber.
It's humongous. That thing is humongous. It's the size of both your hands. That's right. Turn it around gently.
What's like that one?
Yeah, we found another one. Here's another one.
I got that one.
Nana's gonna make pickles. That one was on the other side of the fence. You ran around and got it for me. Look at that thing. That thing is huge, people. It's like a little football. What kind of cucumber is that?
It's just a cucumber.
Okay, so now we're going to the greenhouse. Hold on. Okay, what did we find, Andre?
We found another big humongous.
Yeah.
That's a really
What's Nana been doing? You get that one out. That one's huge. I've never seen a cucumber like that. Can you see this? Now that's a real football.
Huh?
That's a real football. What kind of pickles is Nana gonna make tonight?
Pickles.
That is a huge cucumber. Yeah, just keep turning it gently. That's enough for a jar of pickles. Just one cucumber.
Yeah, but we found a small one.
Yeah, we got a small one too. Here's a little small one there.
Looks like as humongous like that other one.
Yeah.
But this is too huge.
Oh, that's just amazing. I've never seen a cucumber grow that big.
It's just cruelty. You take them all the time.
Yeah.
But you have to be patient.
Okay, try pull now. That's right, patience. There you go. Look at that thing. It's huge. Okay, so now that I know about purslane, you see that little plant right there? I think I can see it. That one right there. It's right here again. Where is it?
And there's a fish.
Yeah, there's a fish.
Oh, hey.
But the purslane is
Look at the pond.
moved in here. Anyway, I can't see now.
You want to look at the pond?
Just wait.
No, but you want to tape at the pond.
Oh, this is still videotaping. No, because we have to clean the pond, Andre. We emptied out the pond, brought one little fish in, and anyway, there's purslane there.
Wait, no, there's still water.
I think that's it right there. When I'm making cat food, because it's so high in omega-3 and fatty acids, that type of stuff, it's one of the richest foods. I'm going to put it in some cat food once in a while. Right.
And we found this big
Yeah,
cucumber.
look at our cucumbers. They're huge. Move your head. Move your head. Okay, now we're going to the greenhouse.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. And then I've got tons of beans in here I'm going to have to get to here pretty soon. And I'm going to be getting onto these as soon as I'm in the next couple of days. chopping them up, blanching them, and freezing them. I found out where the raccoons have been doing their nasties. Stupid freaking animals, man. When I was in here tidying up last time, they went underneath in there, and they've been using it as a latrine. So that means that when I start working on this area and turning it into another greenhouse, as a complimentary, right? Because my landlady wants seedlings and stuff like that, and you know, this space can be better utilized. I'm gonna have to make it so the raccoons can't get in. Like, these raccoons are such a pain, man. Okay, I don't know what's going on here. I haven't been outside for a while, people. I don't know if there's anything growing on that plant. It looks awfully big. I don't see nothing though. I see a lot of leaf, but I don't see nothing growing yet. And then there's a couple potatoes there. So, we're just going into the greenhouse here. Because I know there's cucumbers growing in here. I never have no time to come in here. See, this thing always flowers, people. Gives me flowers all the time, but it never gives me any fruit. But that's okay. It's a happy plant. It flowers all the time. Right? There's the bay leaf. You can see it's just sprouting up more and more. Like, it grew like 5-6 inches since the last time I was in here. So, anyway. And then our Cuban oregano here is just loving it. Just loves it here. Look how lush it is. Right? And there's our little bit of purslane. I'm in here. Right? Look at that. That thing, I was in here like 2-3 days ago. And it wasn't that big before. So they're growing pretty fast. So I'm going to bring that one in. Get that little one. There's another one. Ugh. There's another one in there. You can see it. Right, it's down in there somewhere. So far, 3 cucumbers off this plant. That's not bad. Okay.
No?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, people, I'm friends.
Uh-huh.
I found this cucumber. Did you?
Yeah.
For
It's
me?
growing.
Well, it has a little prickles.
That's okay. I wash them off. Come on, because I'm boiling jars. We're gonna do this. I'm gonna do these after the plums or pears, I should say. Because I got so much to do. It's terrible. It's just hard to keep up with it all. And there's that famous blackberry bush. My God, people, that's gonna take me all day. Look at that. Look what it's done. Look what it's done. It's crawled up over in there, all up in there, all up in there. Okay.
Popping out.
Okay, what do you see?
Look. Popping out.
What's popping out?
See?
What is that?
Carrots.
Carrots.
Let me pull one out.
You want to pull one out? Look at that carrot. That's a nice carrot. Be careful when you pull out the...
Carrots?
Mm-hmm. Just a couple, because we're not doing too much with carrots right now. Okay, I've got the carrots from the food bank yet. Okay, just 2. That's all we need.
Wait.
Right? That's another day.
Wait, I think there's a couple more ready. See?
I think you just like picking carrots, Andre.
Yeah, that's what I like to do. See, there's just so many. Get ready. See all these? See all those people? There's so many popping out.
So many popping out, eh?
See?
In there, eh?
In there.
Okay, well, grab one more. You got 2, you can grab one more, you'll have 3. Oops. Oh, you got 2. Okay, that's good. Well, those
What?
are big. Carrots worked out really well this year. Very low maintenance.
Oh no.
Very low maintenance. Okay, and then here's some more kale I'm going to have to get to.
Dog down.
Okay, so what I'm doing here, people, is I've just brought it up to high. I'm going to put the lid on it, right? Just bring it up to a high within the machine itself, right? I guess it brings it to a small boil of some sort. That's what I'm going to do. And then this I turn down, off. Oh, there goes the screen. Now I'm just going to let it seep for a while, and then I'm going to run it through a cheesecloth. And then we're going to cook the juice in a different pot with some sugar to make it syrupy, right? Okay, so it's like going on 9:30 at night here. And I'm still making this pear syrup. I have to boil it down a little bit, people. You can see that. It's not ready yet. I didn't put very much sugar. It didn't need it. I think I only did one of those. That's like 2/3 of a cup. Well, it says 1 cup, so I don't know. I put some sugar in there anyway. I didn't put that much in there. And then I took a little bit out and I put it in a glass. Oops, sorry. Right, so it'll cool down just to see how it pours. I guess that's how you do it. You know, it needs to still boil down a bit more. It's either that or add more sugar. I don't really want to add more sugar, so I don't know. I don't know what to do. I have a book with the Queen's syrup. I should really see what the liquid content of that is compared to the sugar, right? And then, anyway, so there's jars. I'm not doing pears tonight. I'm just going to finish this tonight because I'm tired. Right? This is really tasty. It's good. Ready to go. Okay, so I found the book, and I added about almost two more cups of sugar in here to compensate for the liquid, and it changed the color. It changed the color of the syrup. So that's the first thing I want to mention. Here's that book. I don't know if I've ever shown it to you before. You can see that. Anyway, I boiled it down for about another 10 minutes. Actually, it was more than 10 minutes. It was more like 15, 20 minutes. So my concern is, it wasn't on high, it was on medium high, I guess. No, and then I turned it down. I'm getting tired, people. Anyway, it's really tasty. It's really, really good. You can see the way it's flowing. My concern is because I did boil a little longer, that once it really cools down, it will crystallize. But I don't think so. I don't think it's going to crystallize at all. I'm just going to stick it in the fridge, though, first and see. Because if it looks like it's going to crystallize, then I'm going to add some more water to it. And then I'll just reheat it and do that, you know, just very little, right? It wouldn't require very much. Now, this isn't hot anymore, but you can see it, right? Pretty good stuff. There it is in there. So did you see how the color changed? Color changed. It's kind of like a, I don't know, like wine. It looks like wine, people. Okay, it's going to be kind of hard to do this with a flappy screen, right? It's setting. The glass is really cold. The syrup isn't extremely cold. Oops, sorry. But you can see what it's doing there. I don't think it's going to crystallize too much more. I'd like to think not, right? I'm anxious. It's like going on 10:30 here. I want to can this stuff, right? I don't want to wait another 15 minutes in the fridge. But I don't think it's going to crystallize much more. I don't really want to add water in there and have to bring it back to boil, right? Just to, you know, bring it to that state. It's really tasty, people. Really, really tasty. Okay, so I'm pretty impressed. This is really tasty. You get that little tinge of pineapple, so it's perfect. This is really good. And it's quite simple to make. And if you wanted to... Now, the only reason I made it, people, is because of those pears, right? But in terms of like a raspberry syrup or a blackberry syrup or a blueberry syrup, you can use dehydrated fruit to get your initial juice, to get the base for your syrup. Because otherwise, syrup is just sugar and water, and it's boiled down to a consistency where you can pour it, right? See, this one is gelling up a little bit, but if you put it on something warm, like a waffle or a pancake or whatever, it will melt. So I got 3 jars anyway. If I had honey, I think I would have preferred to use honey versus sugar, but I'm satisfied with this. And I have, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 more plum sauce. So I'm going to cook those ones up at 190 degrees, quarter inch head space, And I'll probably do it for about 10-15 minutes. Should be good to go. So, August 5th, 2016, that's the last of the pears, people. You can see how nice they are. Nice, ready, perfect. Okay, so the pears are done. 7 jars. So I did 14 this year, so that's okay. The kids downstairs, right? My adult children and their friends were eating pears, so that's fine, right? That's what's left. Andre likes them this way. Maybe not so much this way, although he prefers peaches canned. Pears he's still picky with, right? But he likes fresh pears. So those are for Andre for the most part. So now I'm going to do some pickles here. This was from last week. And then Andre and I found those yesterday. I don't know where this thing was hiding, but it was hiding anyway. And that one was hiding, and that one was hiding. Right? This one came from the, these ones here, they came from the greenhouse. They're not plump. They're opposite. They're not getting enough water. That's what it is. I don't water them enough, right? You can see. They kind of like, but anyway. Okay, people. Here is these cucumbers. I got Trump in the background with one of his speeches there, so I'm just kind of listening to that. But anyway, there's that large, very large cucumber. You can see it has big seeds, right? They say you're not supposed, Andre, please. They say you're not supposed to really can those. They don't can very well. But anyway, I want two quart-sized jars, right? This is the one from the greenhouse. I'm assuming it just didn't get very much water. Andre, can you please get down? Okay. And then these ones are all from outside, right? You can see the difference in the seeds, right? And then from outside. So I figured that should be enough for 2 jars anyway, right? Okay, people. It's August 6th, 2016. So this is where we're at. So I did the pears yesterday. 1 jar didn't seal because I didn't take the air out. That's why it didn't seal. So anyway, 6 jars sealed. So I got what, 13 jars? 7 and 6 is what, 13? And then 1 in the fridge. And I still have from last year, so that's not so bad. And then I did 2 jars of pickles, you can see, right? And there's salt in that one, so that's good. And then the day before that, I did the sweet plum sauce, which is very, very good. And then I did 3 pear syrups, which is really, really good. Like, extremely good. So that's good. I want to show you something here. I know it's kind of dark because it's late now, right? I don't know if you'll be able to see this, if you'll be able to notice it. There is a difference between black walnut and Old English walnut. This is the rind of the black walnut. It's much darker than the rind of the Old English walnut. And when you go pick it up, or in terms of the nuts with the husks and everything under the tree, it's the black walnut, the actual black walnut, that gives off the good smell in terms of like a food, or it's not like it's not a heart, it's like an orange, a cross between an orange or a lime, or you know, it has a nice smell to it. Even Andre likes the smell. Not so much these ones. You can't really smell these ones very much, right? I put my nose to them today as I was doing them. These ones I'm dehydrating. These are at the tail end of the tree falling off, right? Because what I've discovered here, people, oops, sorry. Now, obviously, I was doing walnut a little bit today. And yes, I do wear gloves, and I don't wear gloves. It depends, right? Anyway, where my skin was peeling, because that's what it does, people. I mean, obviously, I had my hands in water washing nuts today, right? So you're not going to notice it as much. And I'm probably going to do walnuts for the next couple of days because I've got 2 more large trays after this is dehydrated. And I've got 2 like this. And some of these are already, like, not needing it, okay? Because, again, you can feel them. You can feel them, people, if they're really too damp inside or on the outside of the shell, right? So, you know, you don't want to run them underneath a dehydrator forever. I don't think it's necessary, but you do want to keep them with the air, right? So anyway, with this stuff here, what I'm going to do, right, it's almost already dehydrated, is I have a, oh, I don't know how to explain it. It's like a rough patch of skin here. It's been like that for years, and sometimes it gets really, really dry, you know? And I don't necessarily have a callus there, but it's kind of like a callus. And because black walnut likes to eat the surface of the skin, right? And it's like a healing agent, I'm going to take some of this, reconstitute it with water, put it on there, put it on there, or powder, whichever, right? Put a gauze over it, and I'm going to leave it on there for a couple of 2-3 hours so it can eat away at that dead skin. And then I'm going to see what happens, right? Because I'm starting to think that it's a good callus remover. Because I think what I had, I think what I had over here was a little callus. But you can't see it now because I was doing this again today. This is what I did today, right? So it's been covered up again. But, okay. So anyway, we've got the marinade plum sauce here. I don't know, quite a few. I already did a video on that. We still have our pickles with no salt turned upside down. Herbs are done like this, right? And then, hold on a minute.